Okay, guys. No one else is walking in. Late people do not walk in, all right? Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, start.
Hi everyone, we're Team 1 and we approached the NLP assignment at looking at sales opportunities for RJ's market. And our binary question was, do you prepare your meal in 30 minutes or less? We're going to be going over our key objectives, which is basically our whole student meal preferences and behaviors for preparing meals, our analysis, which will be different model types and looking at the data, and our outcome will be action points for RJ to improve sales at the market. So we recognize that our data was super limited. We only had 57 observations. As well, our data only came from the MSBA program instead of the whole general student population. So there will be lots of bias in our data. It's also important to think about the American consumer, and specifically the average American student. Here you'll see a food pyramid of the college food palette. Next, we have the top 5 foods consumed by American college students, and we're going to look at how they differ from the Holt students.
Our answers in our survey questions gave us a lot of interesting insights for RJs. Now, let's start looking at, for example, here. What are our favorite dishes to cook as Holt students? Here we came across with very interesting insights, such as curry and foods from our backgrounds, so we can say that we are likely to cook meals that make us feel home or things like that. Also, a lot of salads and vegetables, so maybe we could say that we eat a bit healthier than the average American college student. And of course, we can find foods like pasta or rice, as in they're really easy to make and fast, so we are, we like that, right? If we look at the sentiment for, let's say, all of our survey questions, we can easily say that easy is, of course, one of the most preferred words among us in the positive side, and in the negative side, we can find things like frozen. We love frozen pizza, and why not? We come here a lot, we are tired, so we just like to go home, take our frozen up pizza out, and of course, that also reflects the word lazy that is there. So yes. Let's look at some of the characteristic words that we came across in our analysis. If we look at, for example, when did we start cooking? And let's just look at 5 or 6 answers here. We can see that moved, school, and started are the most common words, which totally makes sense. So most of us actually learned how to cook when we left our homes, or when we finished school, then move abroad, things like that. And we can see the age range that is in our teens. So yeah, a few years ago when we maybe moved to do our master's degree. And if we look at who taught us how to cook, this was really interesting. Let's just look at fewer answers. We can see mom and grandma, which makes sense, most of us learned from them. But something that really surprised us was to see YouTube there. So most of us learned with YouTube videos, which gave us an interesting insight to the fact that if we struggled to find a job, we could always open a YouTube channel for Holt students and teach us how to cook. And finally, looking at this interesting network analysis, we can see words like save, that is highly related to money. So when we first look at the words and we saw save, we were thinking that maybe it was related to time, but it's mainly related to money. So this is something that RJs also need to consider when preparing their improved proposal for Holt students. So consider money and saving money. Now let's look at our predictions.
Yes, so looking at our predictions, we built a naive Bayes model with a variable amount of training data. And if we look at our graph here, we can clearly see at our mean line, anything that's on the left side of our mean line is something that has a higher probability of being for someone who cooks for less than 30 minutes, so it's more likely to go to RJ's and just buy something. And anything on the right side of the mean line is more likely to be someone who is going to cook for more than 30 minutes and is therefore less likely to buy at RJ's. And And here we found some very interesting works that are on the left side, so for less than 30 minutes, which is prepared YouTube in rice, which shows that people who watch YouTube videos are most likely not as advanced in their cooking, so they probably want something more simple like just rice or a prepared meal, and are therefore less likely to, more likely to go to RJ's and just buy something. Whereas other, especially dishes like curry, potatoes, and soup that just naturally take a long time to cook, are more on the side for people who cook for more than 30 minutes. As well, and that was interesting, cheaper. Anyone who had cheaper in it was extremely more likely to cook for more than 30 minutes and cook for themselves, because just eating out is just too expensive. But whether or not this model is actually any good is something we evaluated with a confusion matrix. So here we looked at our type 1 and type 2 errors and found that while we have a total accuracy of 75%, we have a relatively high number of type 1 errors, which is kind of bad in this context, but it's mostly due to a relative lack of just observation data. So if we had more observations, this would change completely, but if we fill out more surveys, we can definitely add that. And lastly, before we come to our conclusions, we looked at the LDA and our persona prediction, which ended up kind of as a mixed bag. Some of them were just completely random, but we found that some aggregated, for example, Mediterranean, Scandinavian, Vietnamese, and all that aggregated into a background cluster. And we also found another cluster for experiences, such as the word experience, life, fun, love, and baking, that are just experiences. And now we see how we draw conclusions and recommendations from this data.
So in conclusion, Holt students, as seen in our analysis, are healthier than the average American student. This could be due to a wide number of factors. And we can also see that we have very diverse palates, which is a huge difference as well. And similarities is that we are low on disposable income. We want our meals quick and easy, and if they can be unhealthy, that's preferred, but we will also eat healthy meals as well. Our recommendations for RJ include to have homemade meals as an option that are more focused on the different backgrounds that the Holt students are from. You saw a lot of different cultural backgrounds, like Italian, Indian, Mediterranean, Chinese. You also see Scandinavian in some of the plot points as well. And to have foods in a hot bar or buffet that are easy and ready to go, so that we can just come in, take them, like pizza or lasagna, and to encourage promotions on foods that Holt students buy a lot of. And lastly, because time is such an issue for us Holt students, that RJ should be open an hour later because it closes at 8.
Wow. 30 more seconds?
30 more seconds. Also, to create a YouTube channel for the teenage and student market if you're looking for a job when Holt is done. And if you want to be successful, use a female host, because most people learn cooking from their mother or grandmother, as we saw. And lastly, maybe to have an app at RJ's which can show the inventory of food and different meals that you can create quickly with the items that you select.
Okay, class, I am incentivizing you to ask good questions right now. Come on. Class, what were you doing for the past 8 minutes? Okay, then ask questions now. There you go, yeah.
So, since like RJ is actually a chain, right? Did you go around checking all the stores to see if they sell?
The RJ's here doesn't have a hot bar. They have the salad bar and they have the sandwich bar, but they don't serve any like real hot foods like lasagna or pizza. So it would be a good thing for them to
That would
have.
be nice, yeah. Daydreaming. All right, cool, I liked it. Very nice visuals, very nice layout, very smooth. Transitions very well happened, so thank you guys, really good. Okay, team 2.